how well is Brock Purdy playing lately? We know he had one of his worst games against the Chiefs. It seemed uncharacteristically bad. But really this year, he's got 9 touchdown passes, 7 picks in 7 games, also 2 fumbles lost. I know he's 17th right now out of all quarterbacks in quarterback rating and 22nd in completion percentage. Last year, he was number 1 in quarterback rating. What do you make of this trend?
Okay. Let's be real clear. I think he's a very good quarterback, and I'm not saying anything about to say he's no good, they can't go ahead with him. I think he should be the quarterback for a long time to come. But I'm also saying he's not playing well lately. His numbers, if you look at numbers, and again, Patrick Mahomes' numbers don't matter because he's Patrick Mahomes, and his numbers aren't great.
And he has 3 rings. And he's in the he could retire tomorrow and be in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Purdy has not ascended several levels to that. His numbers are completely mediocre, Iggy.
Yeah.
He's if you didn't know who he was, you'd say he's a run-of-the-mill quarterback. He's pretty good. He's not gonna. You don't expect him single-handedly or to take the team to the Super Bowl. So I'd say the current version of Brock Purdy is a so-so quarterback who throws picks.
Yes.
And a pick is much worse than a touchdown is good.
True.
Picks, there's no question.
Yeah.
Losing the ball and throwing picks for a quarterback is worse than scoring touchdowns. Baker Mayfield, he threw how many picks last night? He killed them, even though he threw a lot of touchdowns. Can't do that. And the quarterback who he is now is mediocre and is throwing picks. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to go on a little. So you say, why? Why is there this change in him? One, I don't think he became a worse quarterback. I think he's really a good quarterback. I'd say a couple of things, and I'm not good at this. I think he's very good at attacking zone coverage because there are open areas on the field. I think teams have learned to play man-to-man coverage, i.e. a guy guarding a guy. And I know on those situations, you have to be much more precise with your throws. You have to throw to a smaller window. He may not be that good at that. Joe Montana was. Joe Montana could, put it on the head of a needle. And that's why he was great and better than Brock Purdy. And I think the league has begun to learn that about him. That if you play man-to-man against the 49ers, Purdy's going to have trouble. But there's something deeper than that even. I think he's lost confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And what Shanahan did after the game isn't going to help his confidence. I think he's lost confidence. And I think it's the same thing that happened with Garoppolo.
Yep.
I've never met Kyle Shanahan, so I'm only talking about what I think. I can't say I'm correct. I think he wears down a quarterback, Shanahan. I don't think he's the kind of guy who puts his arm around you and coaches you up. I think he coaches you down and tells you all the things you're not good at. And after a while, you start to second guess yourself. Do I really want to throw this pass? Because if I throw it, I'll get flack from the coach afterward. I think we saw Jimmy's play decline, and we're seeing Brock's play decline. And a working hypothesis, something I can't prove, is the coach has a deleterious effect on his quarterbacks.
The one quarterback he had the most success with was Matt Ryan. They had one good year together. We don't know if he could have kept that going. And they didn't win the Super Bowl, but he was an MVP, and it was 1 year. I think there's something to that. Like, you never hear about Andy Reid getting in conflict with his quarterback. He made Donovan McNabb feel like he was a Hall of Famer, and he wasn't. And now he makes Patrick Mahomes feel like he's the greatest quarterback of all time. And that's a big part of what Andy Reid brings to that organization, how he uplifts the quarterback and makes it all about that person. Kyle, it seems like he wants to make it about the running back or himself.
I listened to Tom Brady. I often turn the sound off because those guys, the announcers, drive me nuts. And in a press box, you don't hear it. You're used to it being quiet. But Brady, I got to say, I think he's fabulous. And one of the things he said was, and this is paraphrased, but it's close, players love to play for Andy Reid. They
Hmm.
love to play for him. And they want to come through for him. They love to play for him. I've never heard that about Shanahan. I've never heard anyone say players love to play for him.
You can see here that you hear that they respect him and they acknowledge that he's, really smart and can put him in positions to get open. But do they love playing for him? Like, no, he's tough. And they smile. He keeps it real. He tells it how it is. That's not the nicest thing you can say about someone.
No, because the question is, will you lay it on the line for him? Will you? They will for Andy. I don't know
Yeah.
about this guy, and they're sure not doing it this season, Iggy. They're not playing this season like they love playing for this for this coach. They're playing like this. Hey, this is tough. Maybe
Yeah.
we don't want to do this anymore.
And so, people say that Kyle Shanahan has this like indefinite leash with the team and they're going to keep him forever. And he's under contract. And why would they fight? Well, if they really feel that Brock Purdy is the guy, like you said, he should be the quarterback of this team for a long time, the Niners need to look into what effect Kyle Shanahan is having on him. I mean, he's not helping him beat man-to-man coverage. And is he blaming him for the inability to beat man-to-man coverage? Is he hurting this kid's confidence? Because if that's the effect the coach is having, then you really need another coach. You got to pick, who do you want? Can they work together? And if not, who do you want?
I think you want the quarterback. And I also want to say, there's a lot of people out there, we talk, if things go really south this season, I would encourage Jed or whoever's running the show to get rid of him, to move on from that quarterback. And a lot of people think, how can you say that? It's almost like you're a heretic. You don't believe in God. Things like that. I don't feel that way. I feel I judge. I've never met Shanahan. I don't particularly think he'd interest me if I met him, but I'm just looking at how they're doing. And this team, they've had losing records before and come back. This seems different. This seems like Bosa is looking at his phone and not listening to the poor kid who got shot. This team feels like a team that's not together. It doesn't feel right to me. There's something wrong. I feel about this team, and if Denise or John or Jed get together, they have to say, who are we in with for the long haul, the quarterback or the coach? I mean, that's a serious question.
Well, here's what's going on with the team. They won the Super Bowl last year. And they've won it 4 times in the last 5 years. And, they're just taking a year off. But they'll be back. I mean, these are champions we're talking about here, Dad.
I know, I get a lot of stuff. I did the thing like, how would you grade Shanahan's career and how would you grade him this season? And a lot of people are saying, not a lot, but some people say A for his career because, he was in 2 Super Bowls. He won 4, conference championships or wherever he won. So does that mean he's doing well now? Does that mean he'll do well in the future? He's just not doing very well now. He's never won a Super Bowl. You get credit for being in the Super Bowl? You're supposed to get credit for winning the Super Bowl. You think Bill Walsh would have said, we got beaten at Super Bowl, but we were in it. He would have been in the bathroom throwing up, vomiting. Oh, we got in the Super Bowl. He would have felt miserable until the next season because he had those standards. We got in the Super Bowl.
He would have been throwing up.
He would have been throwing up. I'm
Okay, Dad.
emotional. I'm emotional today.